Hey guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com, another quick week news recap of all major MMO news, and announced at the beginning April 22nd, 2019. This is episode number 197 of the recap, and the first bit of news this week comes from Nexon Korea regarding Peria Chronicles. Yes, we finally have an update on Peria Chronicles, and it's a big one. The upcoming sandbox anime RPG is set to begin its first round of testing on May 9th, with registration to open on the official site from now until May 2nd. Keep in mind though, this is only for the Korean version of the game, no word on English release just yet, but after years of nothing, I'm excited to hear that Peria Chronicles is finally happening. At least a beta test is happening, so at least they're making progress on the game. I think what has people most excited about Peria was its sandbox elements and user-generated content elements, but we know that the game has undergone huge changes in development numerous times since it was first announced back in 2012. So I'm not quite sure what Peria Chronicles is going to look like today, but we'll find out soon. And remember, this game was first revealed back in 2012, so it's been 7 years now and we're finally getting a beta sometime next month, so we'll learn more then. And now speaking of Nexon, remember how we talked about Nexon being up for sale a few weeks ago? Well, now we have a small update. A South Korean newspaper reported last week that the company personally pitched Disney to be its acquirer because Nexon's owner is apparently a big fan of Disney. In fact, Nexon's owner specifically said that he likes Disney because they don't milk their customers for as much money as possible, which is pretty ironic considering several Nexon titles, especially the mobile ones, do exactly that. The nearly 50% stake in Nexon that's up for sale is expected to fetch a cool $13.2 billion. The short list of buyers for Nexon are currently Kakao Games, Netmarble, Tencent, Bain Capital, and MBK Partners. Given that Disney recently bought 21st Century Fox for $71 billion earlier this year, I don't think they're going to be the ones buying Nexon. In fact, I still think Tencent will be the front runner here, and I think they're going to be the ones buying it. We'll learn more real soon because I think final bids are due on May 15th, so we'll find out then who's going to end up buying Nexon. Up next, 7 years after City of Heroes shut down, we finally have a publicly available private server for the popular superhero-themed MMORPG. While it's pretty cool that there's a private server for City of Heroes, what's even more amazing is that a private server for the game existed in secret for over 6 years, with the owner of the private server selectively inviting hardcore City of Heroes fans through the game subreddit after secretly gauging their interest level and dedication to the game, and they made them sign NDAs and whatnot too. What's more amazing is that this secret private server had the data from the official City of Heroes server too, so players could actually play their old characters. It's incredible that the server has been around for such a long time and it's been kept secret for so long. Some people have mentioned it before, but nobody believed them, and it wasn't until last week that a video came out on YouTube proving its existence, which later led to the emulator being released publicly. So yeah, amazing story here, but if you want to play City of Heroes now, you can finally do so on a private server. Next up, in Nexon-related news, MapleStory is celebrating its 14th anniversary with a whole host of events. That's a 4th-year anniversary for the North American version of the game. The South Korean version, on the other hand, is now on its 16th anniversary as it launched back in April 2003 versus May 2015 for the NA version. The in-game events run until June 12th. There's a whole bunch of goodies for players to explore. I mean, MapleStory has always been really good with events. There's always events going on in the game. I'm just amazed that MapleStory has been running continuously for 14 straight years in the West. It's one of the first free-to-play MMORPGs in the West, and it helped kick off the free-to-play revolution. I can safely say it's still one of the best free-to-play MMORPGs out there. So if you never played it, give it a try. And moving right along in some unfortunate news, Atlas Reactor is shutting down on June 28th. Tryon Worlds and GameGo made the announcement this last week, and it's definitely a sad one, especially since Atlas Reactor was such a unique game. It was really the only free-to-play XCOM-like multiplayer game. The closure announcement shouldn't come as a big surprise, though, as the game was only averaging 85 or so players online at once, according to Steam charts, and it definitely can't survive on that. This one launched as a buy-to-play game and only went free-to-play later, but I actually enjoyed playing this one, so I'm sad to see this one go. RIP Atlas Reactor. Next up, in some more upbeat news, Elder Scrolls Online's next expansion, Elsewhere, it hit public test server, so anyone can give the game the new expansion a try now. Also included is Update 22 for the base game, which includes Guild Finder, new guild features, PP weapon artifacts, reworked item sets, and more. Anyone who wants to play the new expansion will have to agree to an NDA though, so you can't really talk about any of the new story content and quests, but everything outside of that is fair game. Early access for Elsewhere launched on May 20th for PC and Mac, followed by a full release on June 4th for all platforms. ESO is still one of the biggest MMORPGs here in the West, and I suspect its player base will continue to increase with the launch of Elsewhere, and I'm probably pronouncing that terribly wrong. Next up, also in some upbeat news, the indie sandbox MMO Villagers and Heroes revealed its latest expansion titled A Tale of Earth and Sea. The expansion introduces a new character class to the game called the Shaman, along with new textures and a bunch of other unannounced goodies. This one isn't particularly popular as it only averages 55 or so players on Steam at once, but it's also available on mobile, and it's actually a non-autoplay mobile real MMO as well. This one was released back in 2014, making it 5 years old now. So even though it's not super popular on PC, it might have a bigger audience on mobile, and it's an actual MMO, so it's an actual MMO on mobile, which I guess is kind of nice. And I actually never played this one, so I might give it a whirl. Up next, Torchlight Frontiers, the upcoming Torchlight MMO revealed its latest class, the Railmaster. Unfortunately, we still have no release schedule for this one, but the fact that they're showing off new content means they're making progress. Plus, the Torchlight game has been a pretty popular ARPG, so it's nice to see a more MMO version of Torchlight finally happening. Torchlight Frontiers has also been playable in beta for select users, so it's not like it's nowhere near release either. Some people have actually been playing the game, so it's definitely making its progress towards release. Next and last bit of news this week is industry related. Remember how we talked about Roblox last week having over 90 million monthly active users? Well, we got a small follow-up to that number. Apparently, Roblox made a cool $107 million in revenue in this last quarter. That's $107 million in 3 months. Definitely ain't bad, especially for a game that is almost entirely relies on user-generated content. What's remarkable is that this revenue figure is up 40% year over year. And given the game's continued growth and focus on user-created content, I am optimistic about the future of Roblox. It's really the only game going all in on user-created content, and it's definitely working. I do want to see user-created content being used in other MMORPGs, and I think if done correctly, it could be the next big thing in MMOs. Anyway, guys, that's it for MMO News this week. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the podcast. Later, guys.